It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
Happy Friday if you're listening on release day for this podcast. Hi, thank you for tuning in and spending some time here with the Sean Widmer Podcast. I don't think today's will be as long as Wednesdays, the hour and a half spent with Kevin James. I hope you enjoyed it. I really loved doing it. I love talking to him. Some people reached out and said they liked it, so thank you for that. I think we're gonna find some. We're gonna look at the comments today. It's Friday episode. We're gonna look at comments. I haven't done it. I've kind of been staying away from them because I wanted to build some up. We'll see if there were any built up. I'm actually looking right now. Let's see. Are we gonna have some? I think so. All right, so let's do what we do today. We're going to talk about something that happened here in Lexington, scary stuff. Video game news happened, what that means for the world, and I think there's other things I wanted to talk about. Kelly's What Are You Into about a food item that everyone needs to try, period. Everyone needs to try it. But let's start with this. Last night, first time it's ever happened to me. Oh, my lands. Tornado warnings. Dorothy's, beware. They came a-cruising to Lexington, Kentucky last night on Wednesday into Thursday, April 2nd into April 3rd. The rumors were happening that, there's going to be some crazy wind happening the night of the 2nd into the early morning hours of the 3rd. And boy, oh boy, was it wild. The wind was insane, and I've never been around tornado stuff in my life, right? Grew up in the Pacific Northwest, grew up as a kid in Venezuela, no tornadoes there. Grew up then in the Pacific Northwest in eastern Washington, no tornadoes there. So I come out here to the Middle Eastern United States, northern Middle Eastern United States, where there is a lot of temperature changes. And I think with that brings a lot of weird weather stuff, including these doggone tornadoes. And at 2:30 a.m., 2:20 a.m. last night, oh my gosh, the phone goes bonkers. Everyone's phone goes crazy. I guess throughout Lexington, the tornado sirens were going off, and the tornado warning happened as an eye of a tornado passed right over top of Lexington. I don't know all the technicalities of a tornado, but I guess at some point it forms and then it can touch down, and you've got the real thing that you see in Twister and the Glenn Powell movie, Twisters. That didn't happen, but the eye passed right over Lexington. I don't think it actually touched down. I may be wrong about that, but it was wild. And the wind was crazy, and I'll be real with you, it was scary. It's scary stuff. We were, checking on the kids and everything and getting everything rocking and rolling, and my daughter was terrified. Anna said there's a potential tornado, and even the potential word didn't resonate with her. She heard the word tornado, and she started shaking. I was holding her, and she was shaking. She was so scared. It's scary stuff. It's really weird. Never been around that before in my life. And it led to a really weird day today, Thursday, at work and at home, because all of Lexington was awake from the hours of 2 to 3, and then most people were up. They stayed up kind of knowing it was coming in anticipation, and then a lot of people couldn't get back to sleep after the crazy winds, and it was just wild. Everyone was dragging today in Lexington. Everyone. When I was at home, everyone was dragging. At work, everyone was dragging. It was weird. Really weird day in Lexington. I would like to go, though, on record as saying I am anti-tornado. I'm anti-tornado. So there you go. Plant my flag right there, let it get ripped off the ground and blown away. I'm trying to stay focused on the podcast tonight. The stinking Portland Trailblazers, gosh, I love them to death. But the Blazers just decided to go out and beat the Toronto Raptors tonight. Into the season, Blazers have 6 games to go, and they're doing this dumb thing to me that the Mariners do when I was cheering for the Mariners, and the Blazers do it now. They're not a playoff team. They haven't been a playoff team all year. Now with 5 games left to go, they are 2.5 games out of a playoff spot, chasing the Phoenix Suns, who are right above them, as the next team in, and then the Sacramento Kings are the last team into the playoffs at this point. And I know there's no way the Blazers actually get this done, but that window is there. The window of opportunity is there because they're not mathematically eliminated yet. And so I'm like, yeah, are they going to do this? Are they going to stink and backdoor their way into the playoffs to get smoked in the play-in to the playoffs tournament. Oh, it drives me crazy. And I find myself watching the games because I'm kind of excited. And then all I think is there is a really good NBA player coming in next year named Cooper Flagg out of Duke. And the Blazers are nowhere near getting him. They should have been in it this year. The team was not a great team. They should have lost more games than they did. But they're athletic enough and they're just good enough to win enough games to put them in a place where they're not going to get Cooper Flagg. Right now, the odds-on favorite to get Cooper Flagg, someone I'm very excited about, is a team that's going to just suck to have him, the Utah Jazz. What a dreadful place for the NBA to send a potential superstar for the next decade. Cooper Flagg has all the makings to carry the torch with Wemby and some of the other young guys for the next, Shea. And so I'm back and forth on how much of a superstar Shea can be. But Cooper Flagg will be one of the faces of the league. You send him to Utah? That's awful, which is why Utah won't get the number one pick. There's no way the NBA allows that. But their chances to get him will be the highest. Then Washington Wizards, as of right now, with a couple games left. Then the Charlotte Bobcats. Then the New Orleans Pelicans. Then the Philadelphia 76ers, which would be insane. Then the Brooklyn Nets, which I could see the NBA wanting him to go to Brooklyn. That's a cool place to be. Then it is the Toronto Raptors, where he'll probably end up, the San Antonio Spurs, and then the Blazers. That's how far off of this they've put themselves in the Cooper Flagg sweepstakes. Right now, if you kind of break it all down and you look at the players that are coming out of college this year and you rank them of where, okay, this is Cooper Flagg's number one, and you work your way down, I think the Blazers are on like that Con Knipple, Cooper Flagg's teammate, on his level. And so that's kind of, anyways, I'm way too into this stuff right now. I'm trying not to pay attention to it. I'm trying to just enjoy the end of the NBA regular season, and I'm real excited for the postseason because I love the NBA. Okay, there was some video game stuff that happened this week. Very cool. Tuesday, this happened. Switch 2, or Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Tuesday or Wednesday? Wednesday. Switch 2 gets announced. Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo video game system. Nintendo kind of the gaming system that really got it all started for America. I'm going to give him credit for that. I know there's systems that came out before that. I know the Atari's out there, ColecoVision, some other stuff that's out there. Come on. Nintendo started it all. Are they the kings of video game systems right now? They are not. Xbox and PlayStation, and then, of course, PC. I want to give a shout-out to you, PC Master Race folk. Those are the systems. But Nintendo's still firmly planted in the game, and the Switch was an extremely successful system. But Nintendo's still around, right? They're still around. They're still hanging out. They're still hanging in. And they announced their new system that comes out on June 5th. And it was met with there's a lot to it. The Switch 2 is going to be a little bit bigger. The handheld part of it's a little bigger than the Switch 1. The screen is nicer. The Joy-Cons, if you play with a Switch, the little things that slide off the side, they're magnetic instead of slidey, which the amount of times you would hear a story of a kid putting one of those on the wrong side and just breaking, that was it, broke the system. That's nice. They got the magnets, so that's cool. I think a lot of the specs of it were awesome. It can run in 4K when it's in the dock mode now. Handheld mode, it's going to run 120 frames per second. It's crazy. Like the specs on it, I think, are wild. It's got 8 times the storage of the Switch 1. I'm amazed by it. The big game that was announced, I think that for a release day, was the new Mario Kart. Mario Kart World is coming out, so you get a Mario Kart game right off the bat. But here's why. There's 2 things I wanted to focus on. One, for parents who are complaining, kids who are complaining. I want to make sure we clear the air on something. It's a pricing thing. But the other thing I wanted to say is, watching this Nintendo Direct, I was interested in the fact that Nintendo, which I always feel like, and I know it's not all the way accurate, I understand Nintendo has not always been like this, but I think they lean more kid-friendly, right? When you think, or at least when I think Nintendo, I think Mario, I think Zelda, I think Donkey Kong, I think Super Smash Brothers, but we're not talking about a bloody fighter. You kind of talk about more kid games. They really leaned into the fact that it's just a video game system is what they're trying to get to with the Switch 2. At least that's one of my big takeaways. I realized that over the course of the years, I would almost say starting back with, was it Resident Evil that came out? One of the Resident Evils came out on GameCube. Was it Resident Evil 4? And it's kind of one of those things like, ooh, a mature rated game on a Nintendo system. That was kind of, I worked at the video game store at the time. That was a talking point by people. So I know that it's not a new thing, but I just was amazed by the fact that during this Nintendo Switch Direct, instead of a lot of these times when they announce a system, it's very Zelda happy, Mario happy, a Mario Kart, a Mario Paint style game, a Mario Party. There was like some games in there that are very mature rated titles. I think that's a good thing for Nintendo to dive into that. It makes your system a little more versatile. I liked it. The fact that this company From Software, the creators of amazing games like Elden Ring, the Dark Souls games, Bloodborne, just a ton of games. From Software is a really amazing video game creator right now. They're at the top of their game. They're one of the most popular video game creators right now. One of the biggest companies going. They're releasing a game on Nintendo Switch. I was so surprised by this. It doesn't look like a game I'll be into. The Dusk Bloods comes out apparently in 2026. That means it's probably going to be 2027. But I was amazed that From Software announced their next game as a Switch 2 game. That's crazy to me. Shout out to Nintendo Switch and kind of really solidifying we still have your games that will be good for your kids, and we are still going to be the home for the best kids games. Okay? Mario Kart, Mario, they're always going to be the king of the kids platformer. Astro Bot, which is a game I really love that came out for PlayStation last fall, highly recommend it for your kids. It's not Mario. It's just not. Nintendo is so good at making a kids game. And I just thought that was interesting. The other thing, the prices. The price point on the Nintendo Switch 2 is crazy. $450 for the base system, $500 if you want to buy the bundle that is the Switch 2 along with Mario Kart World. $500. Now, to put that in perspective, when the PlayStation 5 came out, an extremely powerful console, this came out as $399 on release day for the discless system and $500 for the console with the disc drive. The Xbox Series X, when it was released at $450. So we're talking about two extreme powerhouse systems releasing for less than, I guess, Xbox Series X, same as the Switch 2, which is not it's not going to be nearly as powerful as those two systems. It's just not. Even though it's got a lot going for it, it's not as powerful. I thought that was kind of interesting. So pricing-wise, I thought that part was a little wild. The thing a lot of people are complaining about, though, that I want to make sure is addressed here before it gets out of hand, there's a rumor that the video games could cost upwards of $80, maybe even $90, but $80. It could be $79.99 price tags on some of these Nintendo games. Now, that's wild. That's a crazy high number, okay, because we've been paying between $50 and $70 for games for the past very long time. But I would like to make sure we remember that back in 1997-ish, when Nintendo 64 came out, those cartridges were going for $70. That's the equivalent of, I think we looked at it today, $135 for a game, and we were paying it. So the prices have gone down on Nintendo games. Whether you want to pay $80 or not, you could point back to 1997 when you'd go buy Superman 64 for $60 or $70, which is well over inflation-wise. If you look at what the value of a dollar is now, it's over $115, $120. So I hear the complaints, I get it, but you got to understand, video games have always been expensive, and they actually have gotten cheaper over time. Still, $80 is a wild price for a video game. It is going to make it so Nintendo games have to be really good, because you're not going to just be able to buy all of them. You're really going to have to release a good game, and people are going to be extremely critical of video games for Nintendo. If you're paying $80, $90 and your game kind of stinks, it's going to get drug through the mud. A bad game gets drugged through the mud, and if it costs $40, it gets a little bit of leniency. It's going to get no leniency for $80. None. All right, Nintendo Switch 2. I'm excited about it. June 5th. All right, I think we're going to wrap up today. Sorry, it was sports and video games. Everyone's favorite topics. They're like, everyone say it together. Bring back Kevin. Bring back Kevin.
Kelly's, what are you into?
Yasso. Have you heard of these things? Oh my gosh. I did not know. I need to figure out what these ones are. I need to know exactly what they are because Yasso, I think, is the brand. These ones that I'm talking about are Yasso Poppables. Lord in heaven. What are these things and why did I not know about them? But more importantly, why in the world did my wife and Elsa introduce these things to me? In our freezer, these things have been in our freezer for months. I did not realize it. I think I saw them one time and didn't know what was going on in there. Yasso Poppables. These are, when they told me what they're made of, I was like, well, I'm out. I don't want one. Then I ate one, and I was like, oh, yeah, these are really good. They are frozen Greek yogurt treats. So naturally flavored with other naturally flavored. I'm looking at the vanilla bean ones. Creamy Greek yogurt dipped in crunchy, chocolatey coating. They are phenomenal. They are phenomenal. I can't get enough. I can't open up my refrigerator or freezer and see them because they're not mine. They're my wife's, they're Elsa's. They're not mine. But I find myself, if I open the refrigerator, I'm peeking at the freezer and just dreaming of having them. I can't recommend them enough. They are a delicious dessert. Yasso frozen Poppables. Yasso Poppables. I know they make bars as well. Just good old-fashioned Greek yogurt bars. But I try the Poppables. They're really, really good. Should we do some comments? Let's react to some comments, shall we? From the course of the week. I like doing comments on a Friday, if you're still listening. Let's go through it. This is some of the stuff from this week. Hang on. Where are they at? If we go back to Monday's episode, let's look at these. Ian said this. It's official. Sean is Indiana Jones. Down for everything except snakes. Hey, talked about finding that snake in the backyard. I'm still terrified of it. Haven't got the riding lawnmower up and running yet, so my grass is now up to my knees. I guarantee I have an entire nest of snakes all over my backyard. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Yvonne had said about the snakes, Andrew would have helped you with the snake. He's back home working at Northwest Seed and Pet. He also got a baby bearded dragon. He can come out and take all the snakes. They're free. If you want snakes, come get them. Sharon said this, I agree about the way survivors should play. There shouldn't be any special treatment. I agree, Sharon. This is the Friday episode. I want to talk about Survivor. I watched this week's episode, but just in case people watch it over the weekend, I think I might save some Survivor thoughts for Monday or maybe at the very end of the podcast if I remember. Let's see. Ian also said for the Kevin episode, dietitians don't like the Yuka app overall, but do like that it does suggest alternatives. They feel like it has Bobby Parrish Flav City vibe. Because he'll say grapeseed oil is bad on one product, but good on another. And they've noticed that on apps like Yuka. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. See, that stuff's weird. That Yuka app, I'm not going to get it. Not going to get it. As for the Kevin episode, here we go. Yvonne said this. I don't like talking politics either. Okay, well, hang on. Hold that thought. She said, my husband likes to try to talk politics with me, but I told him from the get-go I don't talk politics. Still tries. I'm with Kevin on IBS. Have had it for a few years. I'm 56. Have had it since age 50. Yvonne, I'm so sorry about that. I could be well on my way. We all could be very well on our way. All right, here we go. Let's see what we had on Sean'sLife.com. You can go there and make a comment. I think we've got one to read that's fairly new. And it says, buck up. We had 3 teenage girls. That's from Kelly. When I was talking about having three kiddos and how hard that is. Kelly had 3 teenage girls at one moment. Whew. That's a lot. All right, so there's the comments. I think we'll do those on Friday. I like doing that. That's fun. You can do that at Sean'sLife.com. Oh, YouTube. I forgot to read the YouTube ones. I know there was some YouTube ones. So hang on. Let's go to the YouTube ones. For the week, I think Roberta was out there on YouTube. Here we go. She said this. Oh, here we go. Roberta said this about the snakes. Uh-oh. Time to remove the grass for snakes to hide in. No bueno. Hopefully it was not a poisonous snake. You certainly don't want Huck to bring one in. No. It makes me think of the rat and Lady and the Tramp that goes up into the baby's crib. That's what the snakes are going to do. They're going to overrun Wood's crib. That's all I can think about. And then Roberta also said this about the Kevin episode. Two of my favorites. Sean, I love how 99.9 intro still runs out of your mouth with no hesitation. Absolutely. Absolutely. So good. I got to give some thumbs up there. Thank you, Roberta, for the comments over on YouTube. We'll do those, like I said, on Fridays. I did want to mention one thing because I'm a big tabletop board game, tabletop role-playing game guy, big time. Love my tabletop games. We've been in a bit of a Catan kick here in Lexington with some of my buddies, and it's been very fun. Great game, highly recommended. It holds up. It's still great. I was reading an article today on Polygon that bummed me out, man, because I don't know politics. I don't know politics. I know this, though. I think tabletop role-playing is one of the greatest things that you can get into as a hobby. I think it is maximum creativity. I think it's an incredible way to enjoy some time with friends. I think building a story together, right? Having someone run a story and everyone build a story together, build a world together, work through it, not knowing what's going to happen and make that happen and the memories that creates. I think it's amazing. I think it's a great hobby. And, excuse me, the tabletop role-playing game world is really... It's kind of been on the rise. I think a lot of people just assume, Dungeons and Dragons is the one you think of. But there's so many types of these games. So many, hundreds of thousands, it feels like. Thousands, not hundreds of thousands. Hundreds up to thousands of these games. Right? This game, Shadow Dark, a huge game I want to try sometime. There's a company making a big game called Draw Steel coming out this year. And they're all really cool, and they're all really fun, and they're great. But what I read today on Polygon, and I don't know about these I don't know what the tariffs are. I don't know what a tariff is. I just know that in a time right now where this hobby that I think is amazing is starting to really get legs and blow up, everything I'm reading right now is that world is going to suffer greatly the next couple of years because of how much it's going to cost to try to get these games made, printed, and shipped in. And that bums me out so much because I don't understand everything with the tariffs. I don't understand the good, the bad. I just don't. But I do know I'm really going to be bummed out if it is a reason that's something that I think is really cool and that's growing and that has really young creators who are making these games is going to put them out of work and is going to put them out of a spot where they can create and provide like new opportunities for us, new games for us. That's going to bum me out. Now, I also understand how the internet works. So this is on Polygon. I don't know Polygon's political leanings. I bet you if I go to another site, they're going to tell me that these tariffs are going to make tabletop role-playing games explode. Right? There's that chance. Who knows? Maybe there's that chance. I was just bummed out about that. I want this hobby to grow. I want more people to get into it. I want more people to try it. And having so many different options really helps with that. All right, that's it for the podcast today. Thank you for listening. I very much appreciate it. You can leave a comment. Oh, hang on. Michael said this. We'll finish with this. Miguel, my man Miguel. Miguel, it's good to see your name on here. I love you, brother. Miguel says this. Irrational fears. Here are his. Rats, snakes, and bees. Rats, snakes, and bees. Dude, rats, snakes, and bees freaking suck. Rats, I'm not... Okay, so I'm not as terrified of rats just in general. I actually know I am. Rats suck. I'm more scared of snakes, but rats suck. Not mice, rats. Oh, do we do it now? Do I just bury this? I wanted to do a whole... I got to think real quick. I got to think here. I can't waste it right now. I'll waste it on Monday. I'm going to type it down on Monday's notes. On Monday, if you hated today's episode, on Monday... I am going to read you something that absolutely blew my mind from the world of Disney. Blew my mind. A holy smokes, what the heck just happened moment. All right, we're going to get into that on Monday. Thank you, Miguel, for the comment. Thank you all for listening. I really, really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you didn't, just tune in Monday. You'll enjoy that one. Bye.